Good morning, students. Let's start our SP lectures. So, we are in the topic formation of a company. In that, we are continuing with stages in formation of the company. Till now, we discussed of promote, that is first stage, that is promotion. And the second stage, yesterday we did the second stage, that is incorporation of a company. What is a promotion? Promotion means the process of formation of the company. Promotion means all the necessary steps taken to incorporate a company is called promotion, and the person who does this activity is called as promoter. Then next, we did all the steps in promotion of the company. Okay, next was digital signature certificate till obtaining the certificate of incorporation. There were many steps. Yesterday, because of this internet problem, we were not able to revise or finish I- as I wanted to. So today, again, I will revise this point, that is incorporation of a company. What are the steps that should be taken in incorporation of a company? We would revise it again because yesterday, because of internet connectivity, difficulty in internet connectivity, we were not able to. I was not able to complete the lecture as I wished to complete. So let us start the next stage, that is incorporation of the company. In that, in this stage, generally the promoter has to prepare or finalize all the necessary documents. He has to collect all the necessary certificates, and after collecting and after preparing all the necessary documents, means like documents related to digital signature, documents related to reservation of name, and all that. There are some procedure that we will be doing in details also. So, in generally in this stage, that is incorporation of company, all the necessary documents which are required are prepared by the promoters with the help of or rather with the assistance of some professionals like lawyers, chartered accountants, cost accountants, company secretary. With the help of these, or rather with the assistance of these professionals, they prepare the necessary documents and then they submit to the uh, registrar office. Okay, and when they submit all this registrar office, the officer also verifies all the documents, check into the database, and after this verification, the registration officer would give duly signed and stamped certificate that is called the incorporation certificate. And this is how the company comes into existence. Okay, this is the overall look that in this stage, that is incorporation of company, in this stage, generally what is the work or what is the overall overview, we can say that all the necessary documents which are required for the formation of the company are prepared by the promoter according to the provisions given in the Companies Act 2013. All the documents are prepared, and with an application it is submitted to the registration office, and the registration officer, after verifying the documents, after checking the correctness or authenticity of the documents, he gives the permission and he gives the certificate to form a company. That is called, he gives the certificate for incorporation of the company, duly signed and stamped. So, and this is how a company is formed. So let us now discuss what are the necessary documents or what are the necessary steps that has to be taken. So first of all, first document which is required is the obtaining digital signature certificate. This is the signature. This digital signature certificate means a certificate given to the proprietor or the director who registers, who applies for the digital signature. What is digital signature? It is a electronic form of signature. Generally, when e-filing or when e-commerce is done, when the business transaction are done through online mode, okay, at that time what happens, the signature, the contract has to be get signed, or when some document is to be filed, like e-filing, when it is filed electronically through emails or through by using computer. So at that time, signature is required, and this signature is when it is digitalized, when some electronic signatures are used to paste or to sign any documents. This signatures is called digital signature, and for that, for obtaining that, the promoter or the first director, they have to apply for this obtaining this digital signature to some authorities. Okay, certified authorities, they have to apply for obtaining this digital signature, and once the name, then details and DIN number, everything is verified, the authority would provide the certificate to use that digital signature. So that certificate is important. The first document. See, when I'm saying that in incorporate in this stage, various documents are prepared. Okay, so let us make a list which are the documents would be required while filing for applying for incorporation. Let us make some list. So documents. First document is VSC, that is Digital Signature Certificate. This is a document which, or a certificate rather, we can call it as a certificate, which gives the permission or which is given to use the digital signature, for using this digital signature. That after getting this certificate, all the directors can use these their digital signature on the important documents for e-filing the documents. Okay, so this is the first document which has to be obtained. Then next thing is that once this document is obtained, this certificate is obtained, it is again registered with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Okay, in their names means the director name and his digital signature certificate, that has to get registered, so that this digital signature is named for जसं आपल्याला आपलं सिग्नेचरची प्रूफ द्यावी लागते, the name and the signature, this signature is belonging to this person. In the same way, digital signatureचं certificate जोडावं लागतं. They has to submit this digital signature, that this digital certificate is belonging to this director. Name and the certificate, that has to be given, that this digital signature is of this director. Okay, and including their DIN number. What is DIN number? See, all the professionals have their unique identification number. Okay, all the sites, rather, if at all there is a doctor, lawyer, they all are having their unique identification number. If you have any medical prescription of any doctor or any lawyer, you can see identification number is given or written on their certificates. So this certificate is given, this certificate has to be obtained by all the professionals. So as the director also has to obtain this unique identification number. And if at all any director is not having this unique identification number, then he has to apply for obtaining this unique identification number. To this SPICE, that is simplified form of incorporating company electronically. Through them they applies for the unique identification number. It is a 10-digit identification number allotted to the person who is appointed to be the director of the company. Then next is applying for reservation of name. See, according to the company's law, no two company can have similar name. कोणत्याही दोन कंपनीचं कंपनीला एकसारखे नाव देणं म्हणजे असणं अलाउड नाही आहे. ओके. So for that, each and every company has to get their unique name reserved. त्यांचं जे काही त्यांना युनिक नेम द्यायचं असेल त्याचं रिझर्वेशन करणं कंपल्सरी आहे. So for that they have to apply to the center of registration, central registration center, okay, by filing the form that is called reserve unique name. By filing the form, that form name is called reserve unique name. Okay, from where they can fill this form? Through MCA portal, that is www.mca.gov.in. ओके, या पोर्टलवरती जाऊन हा फॉर्म भरावा लागतो फॉर रिझर्विंग दॅट युनिक नेम. त्यांचं रिझर्व करण्यासाठी, एक युनिक नेम रिझर्व करण्यासाठी दे हॅव टू फिल द फॉर्म. And the officer, the central registration officer, he would check the database. Means जे काही नाव आधीपासून रजिस्टर्ड आहे ते चेक करणार. That is called database. They would check the database. If at all no such similar name is there in their database, then it is put for reservation. But if at all there is some similar kind of name earlier used before for other company, then it is rejected and some other option is asked for that. So the promoter himself only provides 2 to 3 options, optional name of his preference, so that there is no problem. If one gets rejected, then other is accepted. So he gives one or more, suggest one or more name in order of their preference. Okay, so after verifying the database, the officer would reserve this name for 20 days. Why for 20 days? Because within these 20 days, all the necessary, the promoter has to make arrangement for all the necessary documents which are required. And then he has to file this document and obtain along with the application, and should obtain the application of certificate of incorporation. Then only the name get reserved and registered. If the promoter fails to do, or if the documents are rejected, by verification of documents in the central registration office, if the documents are rejected for any reason, then automatically the name gets cancelled out. So within 20 days he has to finish all the formalities of registering the documents and obtaining the incorporation certificate. Okay, so that is apply for reservation of name. Okay, then next was finalization of memorandum and article of association. In the promotion stage, he means he just prepares a rough model of memorandum of article and memorandum and article of association. Just he prepares the model of that first copy of that. He prepares the first copy of memorandum and article of association. In which stage? In the promotion stage. But in this incorporation stage, it is finalized. Means the documents, it is and memorandum of association and article of association, they are finalized uh, with the help of the professionals like lawyers, chartered accountant, and legal experts. Okay, they are now finalized. The whatever they have drafted are now finalized. And even sometimes, if the promoter wants to go for a public company, then he can ask to 2 to 3 stock exchange. He sends this copy to the stock exchanges also, and gets their suggestions also, and depending upon their suggestions, various professional suggestion, he finalizes the both the documents, that is memorandum and article of association. Both these documents are now finalized, final printing is done. Okay, with whom? In the promotion stage, he just draft, he just makes a model and a rough model of like that. And then in this stage, with the help of the professional like CS, company secretaries, then legal experts like lawyers, chartered accountants, cost accountants, and even with the help of the stock exchange suggestions, he finalizes the memorandum and article of association. He finalizes these 2 documents. Okay. Then once these documents are finalized, then it should get signed and stamped. With whom? With the this means what it contains. The memorandum of association shall add what should it contain: the name, description, occupation, etc. of the directors and the promoters. Okay, and then their signature, their description, everything is um, written in that. And then stamp authorities, that Indian Stamp Act 19, it is duly signed and stamped under the authorities. Okay, stamping authority, and a stamping date and seal is put on that documents, on both the documents. It has to get signed, stamped, and dated by the stamping authorities. Authorities जे काय असतात ते त्याला duly stamp करून घेतात, sign करून घेतात. And the directors who and the promoters who are the first subscribers, they have to duly sign these both the documents in front of one witness officer, and that witness officer would also give, after signing this, um, they are the just gazetted officer in front of whom this both the documents are to be signed. And after this, after the directors and the promoters sign both the documents, the witnessing officer would also sign, stamp, and give the date of registering or stamping the both the documents. Okay, so that is called signing, stamping, and dating of memorandum and article of association. Once it is finalized, it should get signed in front of some authorities. Okay. Um, then the next stage is to prepare other necessary documents. These two are the most important documents. Memorandum and article of association are the most important documents. But beside these documents, what are the other documents that they have to prepare is consent of director. Second is MOA and AOA, that is Memorandum of Association and Article of Association. And third is consent of directors. They have to give a consent letter to the authorities that they had not done any fraud or any illegal activity, or means, sorry, in this consent letter, a list of person who have agreed to be the first director along with their written consent should be prepared. Means they have agreed to be the first director, and along with that the director's name and their details like their name, address, qualification, DIN number, everything is, this every detail of all the directors, first directors is given in that consent letter. Okay, that is written here. Proof of identity, interest in other firm or company should be included in this list. The required written consent should be in the prescribed format as per Companies Act 2013. Okay, जसं कंपनी ॲक्ट 2013 ज्या प्रकारचा फॉर्मॅट दिलेला आहे त्या फॉर्मॅटमध्ये कंपनीचे जे फर्स्ट डायरेक्टर्स असतात, ऑल द फर्स्ट डायरेक्टर, देअर नेम लिस्ट इज टू बी प्रोव्हाइडेड अँड बिहाइंड दॅट त्याच्यासोबत काय जोडावं लागतं, अलॉंग विथ इट the details of each and every director has to be attached along with this letter or this list of the directors. See, for example, first director is Mr. Ramesh. Then all the details of Mr. Ramesh: name, his address, his identity proof, his, see, name, address, qualification, his identity proof. Okay, then his DIN number, all his detail. Then if second is Mr. Suresh, then Mr. Suresh details. And third is Mr. Yogesh, then Mr. Yogesh details. So in this way, or this is what is a consent of director means it is a list of all the directors in the format which is given by Companies Act 2013 and the details of all the directors. Okay, then along with directors, whosoever names it is given in the article of association as a manager or as a secretary, their details are also to be filed with the that is called details of manager, secretary, etc. Whatever who's the key managerial persons. Okay, so details of their details are also to be filed. Details of manager, secretary, etc. Okay. Their details has to also be to be filed, whose name are written in article of association as manager or as a secretary. Their names has to be or their detail has also to be given in file in this for the purpose. Then declaration by subscriber of memorandum and first direct. This is a declaration. What declaration they gives that the subscriber of member, who are the first subscriber? Generally, all the promoters and the first directors of uh, as named in article of association. They give the declaration that they had not convicted any offense, कोणत्याही प्रकारचा चुकीचा व्यवहार ऑफेन्स, दे हॅव नॉट डन एनी ऑफेन्स इन कनेक्शन विथ प्रमोशन करताना फॉर्म करताना कोणत्याही प्रकारचा गैरव्यवहार इलिगल ॲक्टिव्हिटी केलेली नाही. दे हॅड नॉट कन्व्हिक्टेड एनी ऑफेन्स. ओके, देन दे हॅड बीन नॉट फाउंड गिल्टी, त्यांच्यावरती कोणत्याही प्रकारचा आरोप सिद्ध झालेला नाहीये. कशाबद्दल? रिगार्डिंग एनी फ्रॉड, कोणताही फ्रॉड केलेला नाही, डिसऑनेस्टी केलेली नाही किंवा एखादा रूल्स अँड रेग्युलेशन आहे त्याचं व्हायलेशन केलेलं नाही. दॅट इज कॉल्ड ब्रँच ऑफ ड्युटीज टू एनी कंपनी. जे काय मागील, आणि ते पण किती, मागील 5 वर्षांनी. ओके, since last 5 years, okay, the directors have to give the declaration form, declaration certificate or declaration that since last 5 years they have not done any fraudulent or any dishonest activity with any company, and not even they had violated any rules and regulations which are given under Companies Act. They have not violated any They have not done any illegal activity. And while also in promotion of the company, they have not done any offensive activity. So all these declaration letter is to be given along with the documents. All these documents, that is declaration by subscriber. सी डिक्लेरेशनचा एक दुसरा पण एक असा आहे ज्यावेळेस आपण काही चुकीचं काम करत असतो when we do some illegal activity and or and then we say that no, now we have आता आम्ही सुधारला आहोत. Now I have been, I would like to correct my all the mistakes. So the government officer in front of some legal officer, okay, government legal officer, lawyer म्हणा किंवा like legal officers च्या समोर they get a declaration form from us that now onwards he is going to behave properly and he is not going to create any nuisance in the like this a declaration form is to be given even when an officer an gazetted officer he before joining his post, okay, they have to give the declaration that their their character is very much clear. There had not been any इलिगल ॲक्टिव्हिटीज डन बाय देम. त्यांनी कोणत्याही प्रकारचं इलिगल ॲक्टिव्हिटी केलेली नाही, कोणत्याही प्रकारचं ऑफेन्सिव्ह ॲक्टिव्हिटी केलेली नाही. सो म्हणजे चुकीचा व्यवहार केलेला नाही आहे असं डिक्लेरेशन लिहून घेतात. वाय दॅट पुढं जाऊन काय सपोज इफ एनिथिंग हॅपन्स, ओके, एनी case is filed against that, then the authorities are not held responsible. The person who has given this declaration that I have not done any illegal activity, so he has given this declaration, and he only is going to be given punishment. The authorities who has accepted him are not at all responsible for any misbehavior done by the person. So this is a declaration. The first the directors, the subscribers of the directors, the promoters give in declaration that give in return that they have not done any offensive activities while promotion of the company and preceding 5 years, okay, they have not found guilty for any. फाउंड गिल्टी म्हणजे काय? फाउंड गिल्टी म्हणजे ज्यावेळेस एखाद्या व्यक्तीच्या वरती एखादा गुन्हा सिद्ध होतो, ओके, व्हॉट इज फाउंड गिल्टी? फाउंड गिल्टीचा अर्थ काय आहे? ज्यावेळेस एखाद्या व्यक्तीवरती एखादा गुन्हा सिद्ध होतो, फ्रॉड केलेल्याचं सिद्ध होतो, दॅन इट इज टर्म, त्या व्यक्तीला काय म्हणतात? फाउंड टू बी गिल्टी. Okay, found to be guilty. So this is a declaration form that in preceding 5 years they had not been found guilty for any fraud or any dishonesty or any branch of company's law. Okay, they had not found like that, and this declaration form they have to submit with the other documents while applying for incorporation of the company. Then the next is address for communication. 6 for address for communication. Okay, to get all the necessary notices from the government, okay, or from the registration office, there should be one fixed office address, okay, for a company. But if at all the promoter has not still it has not arranged for the address, then where to communicate? Where should the notice be sent? On which address should this notice be sent? Okay, any notice or uh, any documents. Where to send this or where to send? So for that, the promoter has to give some address, any address for communication to the registrar office. And according to the Companies Act, it is required to have a registered office within 30 days of incorporation. Before incorporation, it can have any other communication address, but once it gets the incorporation certificate, after that, within 30 days, he has to get registered any fixed for office address for communication. So he has to get the office premises within 30 days, which would be the fixed office, and that office address would be registered in the registrar of the company. So before incorporation, he can give any other address for communication, but after incorporation within 30 days, it has to get registered a fixed address for its office. Okay. Then obtaining statutory declaration form. This is a statute. This is called as a legal form, which can be obtained from the professionals like advocate, then practicing general secretary, cost accountant, chartered accountant. Okay, and other person named in article of association, that like director, manager, secretary. From these person, they have to get the declaration form that all the documents are correct, all the formalities are compiled with, means all the necessary requirements, okay, are submitted, are compiled, and all the documents which are submitted are true, correct, and authentic. They have to give this declaration. So that is called statutory declaration. They have to declare this. And the other thing is, last thing what is required is application form. Application form for applying for incorporation of the company. So all these documents, that is digital certificate, memorandum of article and article of memorandum and article of association, consent of directors, details of managers, secretary, etc., declaration of subscriber, address for communication, statutory declaration, and the application form. This has to be filed with the registered office, registration office, or through email, through electronic form, in the electronic form, that is through simplified performer for incorporating company electronically. It is SPICE. They have to file these along with these documents. They also have to file an application form. Okay, either they can do it manually or through electronically with the help of this site, that is simplified performer for incorporating company. Okay, by submitting to this, uh, what file for what they are sent for first reservation of name, when they are submitting this DIS, and they are submitting for when they are applying for run. Next is at run. Run is what? Reserve unique name. So this authorities give the unique reservation name. They reserves For incorporation, for DIN certificate, for PAN and TAN of the company, just like we have our permanent account number. Okay, like that company also have permanent account number and tax deduction and collection account number. This generally these types of numbers, PAN and TAN numbers, just like us, we use this PAN card number for while paying off our taxes. In the same way, company also uses this PAN and TAN number while paying off their taxes. So it has to obtain this PAN and TAN number. Okay, they are 6-digit alphanumerical code. Okay, PAN and 10 numbers are 10 digits. Sorry, 10-digit alphanumerical code. Just as the common the tax every taxpayer has their PAN card number. In the same way, company also is a tax paying artificial person. So it also has its own PAN and TAN number. It is getting from this. Okay, and the last stage is obtaining incorporation of the certificate. I said once these documents are verified, once these documents get verified, okay, the officer would check the authenticity, the correctness, okay, and he issues one certificate duly signed and stamped to the this certificate is called the certificate of incorporation. And what are the contents of the certificates? The name of the company which he has reserved by filling this form. By filling this RUN form, he had reserved some name. So now that names get registered. Okay, so the name of the company, the date of issue of certificate, on which date the company is formed, that date is called date of issue of certificate. The CIN number, like we have our Aadhaar card number, company has its corporate identity number, that is called CIN number. PAN and TAN number, just like we have our PAN card number, company also have its PAN and TAN card number. Okay, signature of register with date and CAC. The register officer would give his signature along with date and by stamping that certificate. So this in this way it can get the company gets its incorporation certificate. Okay, so understood what how a company can get by a promoter can form a company by filing all these types of documents. Okay, then he can get its number or company for that incorporation certificate. So what is an incorporation certificate? It is like a birth certificate. Once when we are born, our father registers our name with the this government gram panchayat or like that. So then we get the birth certificate. In the same way, when the promoter does all the formalities of formation of the giving for formation. When the promoters does and files all the documents required for formation of the company with the registrar of the company, the registration officer would issue the certificate, and that is called the birth certificate of the company. So what is the importance of certificate of incorporation? Certificate of incorporation is like the birth certificate of the company. It is as the company comes into existence from the date mentioned in this certificate, the company now becomes a legal distinct person from its member. Okay, company becomes a body corporate having perpetual succession. What do you mean by perpetual succession? Means continuous existence. Perpetual succession means what? Continuous existence. Means it is not affected by the death or retirement of any of its member. That is called perpetual succession, means continuous existence from the date of its incorporation. The company can sue, means it can file case against any person, or any person can file case against the company in the name of the company. So in this way, an artificial person comes into existence by getting the certificate of incorporation. Incorporation is like a birth certificate for the company. Now let us revise quickly what is required for incorporation of there's two stages, that is promotion and incorporation of the company. See, in the promotion stage, first the promoter comes with an idea. He thinks about the financial requirement. He uh, makes a plan how what would be the capital requirement and how he is going to get this, how he is going to collect this capital. Then after that, he prepares a rough model of memorandum and article of association, and he enters into preliminary contracts with third parties, like for hiring or getting on rent the office or premises. Okay, then he appoints the first director who would be managing the company. The directors manage the activities of the company. So this is called, this comes in the, these steps are there in the promotion of the company. Then the next stage starts, that is incorporation of the company. The promoter has to finalize and prepare all the necessary documents, and along with these documents, he has to submit an application form for incorporating a company. So this is called incorporation of the stage. What are the documents? First is DSC, that is digital signature certificate with the names of the director. It has to reserve or register the names along with their digital certificate to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Then he has to obtain, if any director is not having their DIN number, then they has to apply for DIN number and obtain that DIN number. Then next step is to reserve the name, do the reservation of name by filling which form, run form, that is preserve unique name. The promoter would fill this form through MCA portal, that is www.gov.in. On that portal he would go and he would fill the form called RUN, reserve unique number, and would reserve the unique name for his company. And the officer also checking all the database, means all the previous names, reserve this name for 20 days. Okay, once reservation is done, then the memorandum and article of association are, these two documents are finalized with the helps of professionals like lawyer, chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary. With these, and even with various stock exchanges, with the suggestions of these people, the memorandum and article of association get finalized. Okay, and once it is finalized, it has to be get duly stamped, signed, and with the authorities, okay, stamping authorities, it gets stamping, signing, and dating of that. The promoter gets this. In this process, what the director signs, the subscriber of the memorandum and article of association, they signs in front of a witness, and then once they have signed these documents, the witnessing officer also this. Then after the director had signed all the subscribe for the memorandum and article of association, then the witnessing officer would also sign and give a stamp and date. This is called stamping signing, stamping, and dating of memorandum and article of association. And apart from these two documents, there are other documents also. That is consent of director, means it is a list of all the directors along with their details are given. That is called consent of director. That these are the first director and their details, their DIN number, their everything, their address, their everything is given in the form of list, which is in the format which is given by Companies Act 2013. Then the next letter is regarding information regarding again the managers and secretaries who are named as manager and certificate secretary in article of association. The person whose name are given in article of association as the directors and the secretaries, sorry, the managers and the secretaries of the company, their name and their details is also filed. Is also filed with this. Then declaration of the subscriber that they had not done since preceding 5 years, they have not done any fraud activities, they have not violated any laws of the company, or they have not done any dishonesty with the company. They have to give this declaration form. Okay, then the promoter has to give some communication address also along with the for temporary communication address, and after getting the incorporation certificate it has also to give some permanent registered office address. Okay, then obtaining statutory declaration from whom? From the practicing lawyers, secretaries, and the chartered accountants from them, and the managers and secretary of the company. From them also there is one declaration form is given that they have completed all the requirement, and all the requirements are completed for, and the documents which are filed are true, authentic, okay, and they have done all the requirements, they have completed all the requirements for incorporation of the company. Once they get this, all these documents are filed, the other most important document is this, is the application for incorporation of the company. This document is filed, and all the file of all these documents are submitted either electronically or uh, by hand also. And once they submit, if they are doing this electronically, then they have to go for the authority that is called simplified performa or incorporating company electronically. They have to submit their all the types of documents to these, to this authority, and once they have submitted, they can get their name, which are the certificates they are getting. The reservation of the company, incorporation of new company, DIN certificate for the directors, and their PAN and TAN number. These are the certificates, or these are the documents they are getting by applying for this simply spice. Okay, and once all these documents are filed, the registration officer would verify, would check the documents. Okay, then enter the name into the register as the registered company name, and issues one certificate. That is, this certificate is called incorporation certificate. Okay, what are the contents of this certificate? The name of the company, the address of the company, then issue date of the, means on which date the company has came into existence, that is called issue date, certificate date, then CIN number, like we have our Aadhaar card number, company has its corporate identification number, then PAN and TAN number, signature of the register bit, stamp and seal, date and seal. So these are, in this way it gets its incorporation certificate. What is the importance of this certificate? It is like a birth certificate. After the company gets the incorporation certificate, it actually comes, an artificial person comes into existence, okay, and after it gets incorporated, from the date of its incorporation, it gets its perpetual succession, means it gets its continuous existence, okay. His life is forever long life, it gets its long life. And one more thing, that once it is, the person is came into existence, this artificial comes into existence, it can sue, or it can get sue, means it can file a case, or someone can file case against the company with the name. Okay, so in this way, a company gets its incorporation certificate. I hope you might have understood how a company can get up to this stage, that is incorporation stage. For next, we will be doing in the next lecture. Okay.